Whatever.
Is that?
I mean, the haircut. I need the haircut.
Oh. Man, you got all kinds of colors.
Yeah, it's a regular rainbow behind me.
Yeah, seriously, you got like a clown festival. Right on. What's up?
Yeah, just got home. It is so nice to walk into a house with AC when it's like 84 degrees out. I am not used to that.
84 degrees. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a toasty one.
Our warmest day here has been like mid upper 60s.
I mean, that's pretty good, I guess, for May.
One nice day. Weak. Pretty weak.
It's almost June.
Yeah, it's ridiculous though. Summer season here is so short, and then it's not even that good, and then it's back to fucking winter hell of everything's frozen, snow, nothing works, dark. I don't like it.
Sounds like you want to talk about depression today.
Nah, man.
I don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, it's all about, I guess it's all about what you focus on, right?
It's driving me nuts.
You're changing your light color over there?
Yeah.
If you fixate on the negative things, you'll have a bad time. So maybe I should just... But it just seems so counterintuitive to me when I see negative things that suck and nobody's pointing them out or whatever. I feel like it's my job to be like, don't you guys see this? Are you stupid? What's wrong with you? And then it's like, but then you bring everybody down.
Yeah, that's depressing.
Is it depressing? I don't know. I just always seemed like, I guess people ignore stuff on purpose so they can be happy.
I don't know. Maybe that's like just willful ignorance.
That's what I'm saying. Is willful ignorance. I always just thought it was pure. I always thought it was just pure ignorance, but it almost seems smarter in a way.
So I agree, because down the flip side, you have the people that obsess on the negative things, and their life is just depressing.
That would be me. Yeah.
Let me finish my sentence.
You're talking about me right now.
No, I'm actually thinking of somebody else, but.
No, it's like I do fixate on the negative. It's true.
I don't feel like you do it as much as you say you do. Here I am, so always picking you up when you put yourself down.
You know what? I was talking to James today, and we were talking about filming stuff, and we're doing our new project about the homeless dude.
Yeah.
So we have this spot out towards the butte that's just basically like a junk pile of like buses that don't work and just a bunch of shit that's kind of strewn out through the woods. Shit that belongs to people and stuff. I don't know. Some of it's still, it's stuff like what you'd find out in Willow in like one of those houses. Yeah, so it's not stuff I'm unfamiliar with, but we're talking about what we're going to do to make the bus look like refined and nice for the character to like live inside of. And I'm like, I just don't want to waste too much time doing like little things when I would be more, I'm to the point now where I make a pretty good amount of money if I work, and I took work off to work on this project. So I'm like, if we waste like an hour of time, in my mind, that's like however much money I would have made.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's just like, I'm willing to spend a little bit of money so we don't sit there, recycling pallets, like pulling nails out of pallets, sticking stuff, you know what I mean? Like just buy some lumber if we need it or whatever. And
but
so
then
I'm
that's extra. It's like time versus money.
Well,
money.
So but if you're taking the time off and then you utilize the time poorly, it feels like that's more wasteful to me than it feels like you're hedging you're cutting your losses to be like, I'm going to spend, because it's not like I'm spending a lot. I'm going to spend a fractional amount of money and get a bunch of shit, maximize productivity,
and
basically.
I'm the same way for the most part, unless it's like around the house or something. Like I don't really have a good example, but I'm like, if I can just jerry rig this together to make it look good or work, I will, instead of going to Home Depot and buying the extra pieces or something. But for For, I guess, something like this, I would probably be more like you.
And at home, it depends on if I start getting into a huge amount of time into something that I'm not learning from or enjoying. I'm just basically throwing time at it. I'm like, all right, like I just need to pony up a couple bucks because I don't have a lot of spare time. So if I use it doing something dumb, right, then that's stupid. If I use it doing, yes, it's just a stupid waste of time. Anyways, the whole reason I brought that up was because we were talking about it. He's like, I agree. And then he's like, he brought up my other film project that we'd worked on. And we've kind of like come to this unspoken conclusion together of what made that kind of not come together very well. And it was that it got a little bit like top heavy, that we were spending a lot of time. I mean, there's a lot of reasons it didn't work out, but it seems like James is honed in on, we spent too much time on certain things, and then it just got too top heavy for the fact that we weren't paying people to help us, and then eventually we exhausted our volunteers and they kind of abandoned. And so we were talking about this, and James says, yes, I agree. We want to avoid the Job effect. The film was called Job, and he called it the Job effect, and I was like, the Job effect, like that's what we're calling it now? That's what like we are calling like doomed projects. We're referring to it as the Job effect.
Sad. Oh, that is sad. I wouldn't have thought
it was funny.
Quite
it was
that way.
funny.
I didn't realize that it was done. In my mind, it was you guys had to probably pause because of time. I mean, of the year,
it's not.
Essentially.
It's not. Well, that was kind of what I said, and it's not necessarily like totally done, but.
Now, if you're exhausted,
what
your volunteers.
Well, it's one particular guy, that the main dude who's like the key to the whole thing, that he got sick and he had to. So he didn't want to. He needs to get healthy, and he had this like chronic sinus thing that he wanted to take care of. But here's how I felt after it was done. After we stopped, I felt like I had been in a like 10-round boxing match, getting the shit kicked out of me, and someone threw in the towel for me. And so it was a little bit like
you wanted to finish
I was sitting there like this. No, I was like thank you, but no, like I could say like I wanted to finish the fight, but on the other hand I'm like fucking thank you. I was like dying in there. But it's like if you get the shit kicked out of you by like Mike Tyson, then you have a lot to think about when you're done, and you can be like, what did I do wrong? Well, when I was fighting Mike Tyson.
I think that's tough with a project like this. You were essentially the only one with any experience doing any sort of film stuff, whether it be, creating the story, setting up cameras and lighting and all that. And so then you were kind of just kicking your own ass, but hopefully for a good product. Like the sad part is that there was just a couple things that happened that sounds like it made it fizzle out for a little bit.
But then, like, after I took a break, it was like I got to be, like, honest with myself about what I was actually getting. You know what I mean? Because at the moment, I was like, I'm going to plow through this thing no matter what. Like, even if it sucks, I'm going to finish it. But the fact that we stopped and we might not start, like, I'll do it just to finish it if everybody's down. But if we don't, I am also like, then that's what we're doing now, is it's like I've changed my approach. You know what I mean? Like, so, you have to be realistic about what you can realistically get with the resources that you have. And I was not realistic.
Well, what did you get out of it then?
What I got out of it was that I wrote a script that relied really, really heavily on dialogue. Like, anybody who is watching this, it's pretty apparent that I love to talk, and I talk out my ideas. And like when I write, a lot of times it's a lot of like dialogue heavy. Like that's how they're coming to their conclusions and understandings, is through like a ton of talking, right? Well, when you have a bunch of people that are not experienced actors, they're not incentivized to like learn all of this dialogue, and they have no experience acting. They're not going to be able to carry that dialogue in a dramatic performance Like, not only do they have to remember all of the lines and do that, but then they also have to act in such, like, they have to be able to put themselves in the character.
Right.
And the situations that we came up with for the film, they're really like kind of abstract concepts. It's like, you're upset. It's complicated. It's like, you're upset because this person's doing this, and this is what you want. Like, your motivation is you want to be this guy, but you're actually living out this life, and this person's thinking this. And it's all like really subtle stuff that you'd have to really be able to put yourself in the character. And I think it would require you to be a really advanced actor to be able to like latch on to those motivations. Whereas I think with an indie film or an amateurish film, the best thing you can do is be like, for your actors that are not professional actors, they need really clear motivations. And the motivations would be like, there's a train coming right now, and you're running to get away from the train, right? That's something that a non-actor could do. You know what I mean? Because it's primal, versus like, you're feeling this because of that, because of this, because of that. And they're like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
When
you
really they're just sitting there trying to remember their lines, which to me,
they don't know
them
the
is
lines.
the most important thing.
Yeah, and then I have to communicate that nuance and stuff. And
you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of dancing.
I'm sure it does.
Because you have
it makes sense. Yeah.
the choreographer, and then you have a bunch of us dumb dads that are trying their hardest to do the moves that a professional already knows. You know, and so we sit there and all we're trying to do is remember the move, but not how to do it the best or put the most passion or something into it. So it just looks.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like when you give someone lines and they are not they aren't penetrating the material on that like third level down, and they read it and you're like, no, you would say it like this. Like, don't you fucking get it? Like, you're thinking about this thing. Why would you say it like that? That doesn't make. But then some of the I learned a lot about actors too, because everybody was an amateur, but the best amateurs that I had, and these were people that had never acted before, and they actually did well. And the reason they did well was because the people who came to it with they were blank slates, and they're like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, that gave me the ability to really maneuver them and be like, I want you to like laugh them. I'm like, I want you to laugh like a jerk at this. And he's cool with that. He's not like self-conscious, like, okay. And he's like, does this really jerkish laugh? And it was perfect. And I'm like, you're acting really well. And he's like, are you serious? I don't feel it. I'm like, well, it's just because you're willing to do, like, whatever I tell you to do, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you don't seem self-conscious at all, you know? I'm like, be a douchebag. And he's like, okay. And he does his best douchebag.
Sweet.
And it's like perfect, you know? He does it so well. So I learned that. But what I really learned was that, like, when we do a film project with and probably just generally speaking, when you do a film project, you have to look at it like a cake. And your cake has to have, like, the base needs to be bread, right? It needs to be like thick, dense bread. And then if you have that, you can start layering the frosting and doing the decorative stuff and make it look really pretty, right? Like, ultimately you want a cake that people look at and they're like, wow, that's beautiful. But in order to even make it beautiful, you have to have the bread under it, which would be your plot, right? Yeah. It would be your plot, and it would be that whole, like, they need that. And what's bread? It's like flour. It's basically flour and eggs and shit. It's like not much.
Yeah.
Simple ingredients. It's simple.
Just made me think of Shrek.
Yeah.
Like layers or like onions.
No, it's not layers. Don't get off on that.
I know,
no.
but that's what I thought you were
layers,
going to start
actually.
saying, because a cake has layers. So.
It is layers, but let me finish out my metaphor here.
Sorry.
Flour, eggs,
sugar,
simple shit.
soda.
Simple shit. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple. That's the plot that you need. You need a basic fucking thing, which is what we're doing here. And it's like, you know, homeless boss dude that runs a homeless crew, and he's getting profit from them, and they want to be part of it because it's belonging to part of a crew. Like, that's a simple thing, and everybody has a simple motivation. And so when I talk to the actors, it's going to be like, you just got people just were fucking mean to you because you were trying to panhandle, and now you're part of this group and you have like a little bit more self-esteem. Like these are like simple things that are driven by the plot that then they can understand, and within having that base layer thing that we're doing, we can build on top of that, which would be like your frosting and your details would be like, once you get that core, you can embellish things and make it more artistic and like that's, but that's like, as a filmmaker, that's what I want. And as a dance instructor, that's what the dance choreographer wants too, is they want people to ultimately look at it and be like, wow, that's deep and like has a lot of stuff going on and it's really pretty, right? But in order to get that, you have to get like the base of it set up. But what we found out with Job, or what I found out with Job, was that we were trying to stack frosting on top of nothing, basically. Or a very tiny little fucking cake layer underneath it that's, and then we're just I'm trying to mount in this frosting, which is all of my complex motivations and dialogue and sophisticated. Like the story is super simple, and if you were blinked, you would like really not catch on to it. And then on top of that, I'm like, but then I have all of these like complex inner workings, and it's like, it just doesn't work like that. You got to have the fucking thick bread under it, and then. Why are you smiling every time I say that?
Because I feel like what you're saying is a very common analogy, which is you can't put lipstick on a pig. I mean, it's close.
I mean, yeah, I guess it is kind of similar. It just, it didn't really ring true to me that that's what I was doing, because from my perspective with all of this dialogue, like I am communicating the plot and stuff, but ultimately what, to me, it doesn't seem like a pig. To me, it seems like the thing that I'm putting lipstick on is actually something worth looking at. But the fact of the matter is you can't communicate that stuff without having like the solid base underneath it. Yeah, nor is it the most intelligent way to do it, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of the solid base probably could have just been a little bit more experienced actors.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But that's what I guess that's kind of what I learned when I was talking to James. Like, if you look at the most effective, like, or a lot of the most effective low budget movies, they have a really simple plot. And I think that's literally for this reason, because we have so few people, we can't afford to overcomplicate anything, any aspect of it. We have to make it so that everyone can click together. And then if everyone's clicking together, that gives our actors the opportunity to then do those little like fancy flourish things if they so feel inclined. But look at the Blair Witch Project. It's like the simplest movie in the, you know what I mean? So simple. It's just running from the, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Paranormal Activity, but on a little bit
that
more
kind
complex level, if you will. But yeah.
But I mean, it's like primal shit. It's easy to explain. Everyone can get it. And then whatever, like, if people say the performances are good or whatever, it's because the actor then stacked performance on top of the simple stuff that was underneath it. But
even as the simple filming aspect of it, right? It's like,
yeah, exactly. You gotta simplify everything. If you can simplify everything, you can let the actors do their job. But that then also the dialogue, the writing can do its job too. Like, if you keep the writing simple, I think it could be more beautiful as well. So with the new project we're doing, it's like not much dialogue. It's going to be just a lot of like situations that we play out, which should be much easier. Like my actors before couldn't remember more than like one or two sentences of their dialogue at a time. And I had to stop every single time we got that. So I get it'd be like this much dialogue, and we get through this much, and I'd have to cut, and then I'd be like, I didn't really care for that. Can we do that again? I do that like 3 times, and then we move on to the next line, and we do that 3 times, and we move on to the next. So you can imagine it took us like all day to get through,
and that's frustrating.
Yeah, you cannot scale how I want it. I want things to be so awesome, and you can't scale like that when you don't have all of the lower level pieces in place, which you're just not going to get that with when you're recruiting non-experienced people.
Yeah, and again, if you had somebody that had your experience and also had extra equipment, then you can have two cameras rolling and you can be like, just say that again, and then you can keep editing instead of you having to stop the camera and da da da.
And I don't even have that much. I'm learning as well through the whole thing. Like,
Okay.
that's what I learned how I fucked up by doing it the way I did it. If I had experience, I would have not approached it the way I approached it.
Sure.
I would just try to tell a story that you can tell mostly visually, and then if they then they don't have to talk so much. And I also was capturing, like, so I get a master shot where everybody who's in the scene is in the thing, and I'd try to get through the whole scene in this like master shot, and then I would cut in and I would get close-ups of every person. So I filmed everything like 40 fucking times.
Oh yeah.
And if they were skilled actors, I would have been able to get my master coverage in like one take, and then I would have just cut to specific people for their close-ups. But again, nobody remembered. I really don't want to put this on them. This is on me, you know?
Yeah.
This is what people always do when they don't do finished stuff, is they're like, it was the other people. But it's like, no, it was...
I know that's not what you're saying.
It was too complicated. It was I had an overcomplicated thing. I wanted it to be really intelligent and like respected as like this intellectual film. And it's like, if I am going to communicate the intellectualness of my story, it has to be done in a way where I release it to the viewers. I film it simply and I release it to the viewers, and I hope that they read into what I've made and it's like seems intelligent. But I can't force like all of this smart dialogue into this thing trying to make people think I'm smart. It's just not gonna work.
You would have to go in remembering and knowing, which is, I'm sure you've learned this now, is that, okay, I'm going to use basically volunteer actors who don't really do much acting, so I need to make it as simple on them as possible. Kind of, you already pretty much said this, just summing it up. Make it as simple on them as possible, simple dialogue, make it more creative with the visuals, because that's what you're able to control. And that would have been more of your foundation. Instead, you had this story that had some complexities with lots of dialogue. Actors who don't have a lot of experience in memorizing that much dialogue, but in your vision, they did. And you had this grand scheme thing. So it's 100% your fault.
Yeah, no, it is. And I have to dig like into every scene when we there was one kid, I should say, named Kyle, who he didn't have a ton of acting experience, but when he showed up, he'd read it and he was like, I feel like this character is like this and this, and it reminds me of this and this, and it seems like he's trying to, and it was like dead fucking on.
Nice.
And he was the only person, and everybody was there, and I stuck on Kyle so fast. I was like, you are smart, you get it, like this is like exactly what I'm talking about.
That's funny.
Like, if I had 10, I'm not even
10
say
Kyles.
that again sounds like I'm blaming other people. But Kyle, look, I guess the best way I can sum this up is that I didn't have the experience to manage a bunch of inexperienced people. If I had more experience, maybe I could have pulled that off. But what I really needed was actually like really experienced people to help me get through the process that I needed to get through. So like I needed a bunch of like people that could pick me up rather than I'm fucking carrying and trying to drag everyone through this thing.
Just kind of a bunch of different kind of multiple inexperienced things is going to make a project difficult, right?
Yeah, it was my whole inexperience that led me to believe that this would work, you know, to begin with.
For me on much even smaller projects, like what I do for work, I hate getting feedback from people that they don't do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, like if I'm designing something and then somebody doesn't like it, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But then they're like, hey, I'm going to bring this person in. They have some experience in graphic design. And then they're like, tell me what they want. And I'm like, that's really bad. But I'm doing it for you guys, so I have to give you what you want. So there's a lot of times I've done projects like outside of my regular job, but stuff I was paid for that I would never promote because I didn't like it, but I had to do it for the client, right?
But I will say though, what you're describing, if you frame it the right way, it's that's a really good exercise to get better at what you're doing. Because if you can force something that you think sucks to be good, you know what I mean? If you can find the good in,
find
because
a
that's
way
like
to
right, that's like every creative for hire person's whole thing is like, you give me an idea that doesn't really like work, and then I got to try to find a way to make it work. Then when you're doing your own thing, it should be like a cakewalk, right?
That's a good point, but I think at the specific scenario I'm talking about, at some point I had done like 6 or 7 different variations of this, and some that I was like, I'm glad I did 6 or 7 because I really like this one.
I get it,
and
man.
then
I get it.
Yeah, and then it was like all I heard was what I would say were not the best ideas, and so at least I would do it, but then I was like, I tried doing the way you said, but I really didn't look good, so I just didn't. I just did it this way instead, and then they were like, really, that didn't look good.
So they would want to see it. They would want you to prove to them why it sucked before you could move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have a boss too, and she was great, but she would do one thing that always drove me nuts. And this was like in my early kind of graphic design, early-ish years, because I started at a nonprofit and kind of was teaching myself. And what I would back in the day when it was hard to erase a background, or it took more time to erase a background, I would put a very high contrast color behind it, like a very bright red, so that I can see the colors I want to delete. And then she'd walk out, she's like, that looks good, but I really don't like the color red. And I'm like, I'm still working
that's not
on
what
it.
It's
like,
for.
Yeah, that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah. Just fuck off. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I don't deal with that too much. And now with what I do, I just tell people, to back off. Well, I'm like, you hire me because you like what I do. And if you don't like it, it's because you don't like what I do, because I only do what I do.
Yeah, you have a very unique brand, and you've built this brand on how you do videos.
Kind of unique.
Well, they're at least unique to people like me who don't look at it every day like you. You go and you look and you study other people's maybe, and you're like, I like that they did that. I'm going to start incorporating that into mine. Like I would do with any brand. I'd go do some research, be like, oh, I like that they do that. I like that they do that. And so, but when I see one of your videos, I know it's yours without even. Oh, I mean, it's like hands down, so easy to tell.
Wow, that's really nice. Yeah, I've tried writing. Like I tried to switch for some reason, because I was like, I'm never going to be a filmmaker. So I tried to write, and I wrote a whole book, but it's not for me. Like, I'm just not a fucking writer. I mean, I am a writer, but I write to communicate ideas. I don't write for the writing to be the finished product.
Well, it's like, yeah, maybe you're not good at writing a novel, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't be good at writing a movie. It's two very different things.
Yeah. The writing is the blueprint for the other thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can communicate well verbally, and
But you've also
writing.
written a lot of good short stories.
Yeah, I've done okay. It's just not, and it's not a medium I get as excited about, I guess. You know what I mean?
If you think about like Total Recall or The Minority Report, like those were short stories and they became great movies.
Yeah. I'm not enamored by the idea of just writing. I like the idea. I like visuals. I like actors. I like music. All of those things together is much more exciting than just like.
So more like the
word.
production aspect of it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Or like in the movie world, a director is given a script. A lot of times, maybe sometimes they're the writer, but they're given a script, and then
or they choose it.
Movie based on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes sense.
I think
not all the directors and producers are the ones actually writing the story. In fact, probably less than ever.
A lot of the best directors are not writers. Quentin Tarantino is a writer director, but like this guy David Fincher Yeah, David Fincher that did Fight Club and a bunch of other really good, The Social Network and stuff. He doesn't write his own material. Um, a lot of times, like Scorsese, his
Yeah.
scripts are based on books and things like that. But yeah, I just actually really like the way those multiple elements combine together to like create an emotion in you. You know what I mean? Like there's certain moments in movies where the music pops in at the right moment and the way it's framed and the color and just like what's happening in the story at that moment, where when the music drops, you're just like, oh shit, that's fucking perfect. Like it is like it felt real, but then when the music kicks in, it pushes it to that next level where you're like, this is like magical.
Dude, it really makes me think, and I will go on the record and say this. When I watch a movie and a sad part happens, like, I'm fighting tears a lot of times because they did such a good job at emoting emotion, if that's how you would say it, emoting emotion. Like, for instance, I watched a movie last night, and in it, somebody towards the end was like starting to die, but he had fulfilled his goal. And then they put the music in and they see other people getting sad, and I put myself in that place and I'm like, don't cry. Then my badass wife is looking at me being like, he's gonna cry. He's gonna cry. What a bitch. He's gonna cry.
Little bitch ass. Cry. Yeah. Yeah. I think I was listening.
You know what? I'm gonna pat myself on the back and say that's because I really appreciate that art.
Is it the art? Well, I mean, you have to. It's the art is what's like getting you so invested. Yeah.
Yeah, because if they maybe, like you said, if they didn't play that music in the moment, like maybe I'd be like, damn, that sucks. Like, really thought he was gonna pull through, but instead they're like making it a more emotional moment, and so
sometimes
it's pulling on my heartstrings. Sometimes
they use the music in like a really like manipulative way where you're like, I see what you're trying to do to me here. Fuck you. And then, but then sometimes it's like the perfect choice. It like fits the atmosphere. I think I was listening to Sylvester Stallone talk about when he made Rocky, and he said at the end of Rocky, the visuals, the acting, the sound, the music, everything, what he was hitting it on all of the points at the same time, and they were all working together. And he says that's like really hard to do and rare to pull off. But he said at the end of Rocky, he felt like he did it, where I think he was talking about where after Rocky wins the fight and he's out and the music's up and it's like on Rocky's face and you hear the crowd and stuff and they're like trying to talk to him and he's yelling for Adrian.
Right.
And the music just like punches up at like an 11, and he's like, he felt like he pulled that off, and it is like, yeah, it's really powerful.
It's gotta love that that's what he comes back to as one of his potentially favorite moments. So.
Yeah, well, he's like done a lot of really cool, like he's Sylvester Stallone's an artist.
Yeah. Do you know what
he's an artist? Huh? Oh, the softcore. Yeah.
Yeah. Great acting. I recommend it. No. I think this sounds like I'm going to pat myself on the back. I think I'm really good at recognizing moments like that in a movie, because when people say things a certain way or when certain music comes on, I'll be like, watch, this is actually what's going to happen. Like that they're like, they want you to start going down that road a little bit of like, I think, well, that could also be like, if I'm watching a show that has the same pattern, maybe I'm just picking up on that.
Well, I think the goal is to not there's like certain patterns for sure, but I think you want to find a way. I think if you are being honest, because we all see things slightly differently. So if you're being honest and you are actually like putting yourself in the situation, it shouldn't feel exactly the same as anything else. It should be coming from you.
I think that's why movies are harder than shows. Like most shows have a structure and you pick up on that pattern. You're like, okay, we saw this person early in on the show and they're kind of different, and I bet maybe they're the bad guy later. Like you start to see that a lot, but in a movie you don't really have that structure or pattern unless they're following their hero's journey or something like that.
Well, like every
But I
story
love a good
basically
movie
follows the
that-
hero's journey.
Yeah, if you pull the rug out from underneath me and I'm like, I did not see that coming. Those are the best movies. You know, Fight Club, Memento, things like that.
Yeah. But sometimes actually
People
knowing
don't always appreciate that stuff though.
appreciate the rug pull.
Yeah. They want the structure. They want the Marvel movie.
True. I was going to say sometimes I think another really good movie for me is if I can see where it's going, but I actually am still interested in watching the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you
It's
can
iconic.
tell. Yeah, you're like, oh, this person's going to die by the end or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
or they're going to sacrifice themselves or the good guys are going to win. It's like, yeah, they're going to win, but like the way it's made and everything, I'm invested and I want to see how it goes, you know? Or like win or lose, I just want to watch.
That actually makes me think potentially the movie I was watching last night, which was the second iteration of a movie, followed the hero's journey or path or whatever it was.
I think pretty
I don't
much
wanna
everything
say
does.
Probably. Have you heard of the movie Greenland with Gerard Butler?
Yeah, I watched the first one, yeah.
Watched the second one last night. Super good.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Kinda
I liked the
ruined it,
first
but-
one. No, that's fine.
I mean, I was shocked that the second one was as good as it was. 'Cause
Okay.
You know how stuff like that is, but
Sequels, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I don't know. We're again, I guess back to since we've made this about the art, this episode's become about art in general.
Art and movies, yeah.
Yeah. I think with this project, the idea is just keep it as simple as possible. Rely on performance, rely on atmosphere. Like you said, things that I can control as the director. Don't give people a bunch of like fancy dialogue and stuff. Just fucking simple.
Yeah.
No Job effect. It's like, fuck you, man. The Job effect. Tells me what he's saying
gonna
about
watch this and feel so
Job behind my back to other people. No, it's just because we've talked about it so much. It was just funny that he decided to coin the term. The Job paradox.
Well, I think if you aren't going to release like the film part, it would be still a cool story for you to promote somehow, just to put it out there.
Yeah, I considered trying to. I have enough footage. If I just filmed a little more, I could cut it. If I just did a narration, like if I just had,
I was going to say like a radio show.
well, if I had Josh,
We've talked about, yeah. Sorry.
if I had Josh just do some voiceover stuff, like telling the story in his voice, I could cut the visuals together into like a 10 to 15 minute short. If he just kind of explained like, hey, I'm Job and blah, 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 blah.
That could be interesting.
And this is what happened to me on this fateful day. I didn't even see it coming and all this stuff. And then we just use like little snippets from the scene, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
man, I really didn't expect her to
Make
do
it-
that.
Yeah. There's lots of movies like that, right? Where there's like a lot of narration and just a little bit of story.
I could make it work. Yeah. And then he just tells the story. And then we just use those moments like memories. We could definitely do that. We'll
But
see
did
if
you
we
get
go.
enough filming done for that?
We got enough for a lot of that, and it wouldn't take much to get the rest if we
rest.
decided to go that route. Yeah,
With that idea,
I could convince him to come back and finish that part probably. So I might do that if it seems like we're gonna just toss the whole thing in the trash. I'll probably just do
I think that would give you a sense of a completion.
completion. Yeah, agreed. Man, my dog is rolling around in the back being annoying.
He's hardly annoying. I only
Really,
barely see his tail here and there.
he's annoying the shit out of me.
I just heard him shake for the first time. So I got home and I was like, okay, Jasmine is so happy to see me all the time, and I'm like, oh hi, and then I see she chewed up part of her shock collar, like just the buckle, and I was like, get away from me! I'm so mad at you because whenever she was so good at not chewing up anything, and then it's like all of a sudden she's like, I'm kind of bored. Let me chew up the rug, or the rug, not the carpet. Thankfully.
Anytime I stand up, he stands up, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
sit down, stop. Like anytime we're like,
Every time, yeah.
it's like,
Every time we start to record, I'm like, okay, go outside, and then come in and like go lay down. And they're very good about going and laying in their spot. But you've seen her once in a while. She'll come in and she'll just be like, "What are you doing?" But then she'll go away, and she's pretty good. Or she'll lay right behind me. She just wants a little attention.
No, not him. All the time. If I'm sitting on the couch, he's like this. If I look at him, he's like this. It's like, you're creeping me out.
That's funny.
Back the fuck off.
I'm
not the coolest dude in the world. Like, chill.
You are to him.
I know. It's
for the longest time, I feel like it just stopped after we bought new beds for the dogs. Every morning, Jasmine would wake up at some point and then come to my side of the bed. Sometimes she'd scare me with a cold nose or with a shake, but then I wake up and I'm like, all she needs is a little bit of head scratches, and then it's go lay down, and she'll go lay down. But now Jess got them these Mac Daddy beds that are insane, and they sleep so great.
That's so nice, dude. You have normal, well-adjusted dogs. I have a pound puppy.
Oh yeah. So now you didn't have him as a puppy.
No, I got him when he was like he was like already looked like a full-size dog when I got him.
Yeah. No, I don't think I would ever do that because of that. I know how to train a dog to be fairly obedient. Like Jeter's perfect. Okay, so that might take a little quick editing. We had a little technical difficulty, but you were telling the story of whenever you and Hannah are playing, the dog essentially wants to get involved.
Yeah, and I was like, I was telling the story about when she's laughing, and I'm laughing too. Like,
She's frozen again.
Fuck, your face froze too. Wait, hold on. But I can still hear your voice. Oh, there you go. Is it good?
Oh my gosh.
Is it good?
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, you've been moving the whole time.
I've been cracking up because the faces that it freezes on you. You're not allowed to tell this story, I think.
You too, you were like this. And I was telling the story. I want to tell it because I got to the part where I was making fun of my dog. Because Hannah does her ha 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 ha, and I'm like, oh, and then the dog's behind us going, like spinning in circles, like pushing us. And I was telling the story to you. I was telling you this story, and you were like this. And I was like, maybe I'm not doing the dog voice loud enough, so I just kept going, and you were just like this. And like, he hasn't blinked for a while. I think he's frozen. For a minute, I just thought you were a really tough crowd. I was like, I feel like you should have laughed at that.
It's funny. No, Jeter's pretty bad too about it, like it. Yeah, I can't even say the word because he'll freak out. But it's like if we're gonna GO on a WALK, like as soon as you say the GO word, he will jump up and he'll start spinning in circles and and he's part husky, so he starts talking like a husky. And Sweet. Sometimes I embrace it and let him do it, but because a lot of times you can get him to say I love you, or it sounds like I says I love you.
He does the same shit. I'll say stuff. I'll be like, all right, time to get up, and he'll be it's like, the fuck? He literally copies me. It's so weird.
Yeah. Is he part husky too?
I don't know what he is.
Maybe.
Part retard. Part retard, part douchebag. Okay, so yeah, we've been having a good creative talk. We are also talking about doing something a little different creatively here as well. And yeah. I brought that up because I have been getting, while we've been talking.
Are you getting more?
So many messages. I just got another one.
All right, backstory here. We have been talking about trying to have not necessarily just random people, but maybe other random podcast creators who are starting out like us.
And maybe just random people too. I don't know.
Well, today, we decided maybe some random people could be fun too. Just really get them involved in the conversation. And so we reached out on Reddit in hopes that we'll catch a couple of really great characters to come on and who don't have a lot of experience doing this, just want to come in and have good conversation, and maybe we'll let them decide on what we're going to talk about and see where that gets us. They'll tell their friends to share it and watch it.
And when we talked about this, right, like at first I was like, I thought it was a super novel idea, but the thing with podcasts is that now there's a bajillion of them. And so when I was looking up on Reddit or something, it was like, and the idea of bringing random people onto your podcast in order to trade to get more viewers doesn't work, so don't even bother to try it. And I was like, that's literally like exactly what I came to it on my own.
That's the face you said I made when you were making the dog noise.
Yours was like a slight smile though. It was like,
oh, that's funny.
It was like kind of amused, but like I wish you would finish the story.
But so that was kind of beat us down a little bit into being like, maybe it's a bad idea. But then, okay, I know you're not frozen. But then we saw someone else pitching the same idea, and they were getting a lot of traction. And so
like, you're not going to beat me to market.
Yeah,
not going to let this fool run our idea. And this is as we've done like no market research. I'm sure there's a bajillion podcasts out there trying to do what we want to do, but at least it gives us a little bit of an angle, you know. Yeah. And there seems to be tons of people willing to do it. What's
crazy is I follow and watch a couple of different podcast TikToks from a couple of different people, and I didn't actually realize that they already did have quite a bit of following. They're not like super famous people, but they already had a following from doing funny videos they made in the past. Or one guy really cracks me up, and then I find out like he's a pretty cool singer. So that had a good following. Yeah. So we don't have much going for us. I have a TikTok. There's a couple of thousand views on it, but
yeah, it's weird because like when I was in art school, there's certain people that are just really good at pulling audiences of people. Like one guy I knew back then, he did rapping, and he was in my speech class, and he was so naturally charismatic and good at getting people's attention. Anytime he would open his mouth, it would be clever and everybody would laugh. And he pissed me off at first. He was like, you're so like cultivated and perfect.
Effortless.
But then he started like being really nice to me too. He's like, that was really good. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then we started hanging out a little bit. And he was like,
it's not that you didn't like him, you just didn't like how effortless it was for him.
Yeah, and then his rapping, he had like a pretty good following in Seattle. Like a pretty big amount of like 20,000 followers on his YouTube and stuff like that. And like lots of views. So we made a music video for him. And anyways, so he did rapping when we were in college, and now he's doing a Muay Thai gym, and he trained Anderson Silva's son. So he's been working with Anderson Silva, and he has his own big Muay Thai gym in Washington now that he runs that has a bunch of members. So like anything he does, he seems to be like really good at it.
Yeah.
He's the kind of person I could see starting a podcast and just like naturally having a ton of followers, and you're like, he came out of fucking nowhere, but it's like kind of, but it's like everything he's done, he's been amassing a little like following of people. He's just good at that. But anyways, so we did reach out to people on Reddit, and we got a bunch of responses. I haven't had a chance to look through all of them, but the first one we got was the guy who said, here he is. I asked him if he'd be down, and he said, "What?" Asked us about the podcast, blah blah blah, and I told him, and then he immediately started telling me what's his story. So I think that's kind of what this is going to be. These are going to be people who come on because they want to say something.
Hey, so that's great.
That is good, but that's like the perspective is like with this guy. I'll just read this. It's, My story: after my divorce, no kids in parentheses, I went out on 50 dates with 50 different women in 1 year. And before you say anything, it wasn't sleazy at all. It was fun and eye-opening. Got some fun stories. So he's
Sounds
like,
great.
yeah,
You know what I actually like is that he started off with being like, I didn't have kids. As in, like, it's not like I was being a deadbeat, not showing up. And so he has some sort of forethought.
and he was, and he had
but
a
what is his
forethought.
tag name? It was
Big Bad Booty Daddy.
so he's a dad now. That's what I thought I remembered reading.
Maybe, or maybe just calling him.
And that's he's just a daddy. I get it.
Yeah,
read that hat
could
right
be.
there.
Yeah. So, but this is going to be us bringing this guy on with the thought process of like, he's got a story he wants to tell. We just got to ask him the right questions to get him to kind of like what we do with Joe, but we can do better, right? Like,
Well,
because we're learning, we can grow in our process of like how we
course,
interview
yeah,
people. Yeah. But so that's the first one we got. We got another lady who said she'd be down, but asked what it was about, hasn't replied. Got another guy who just messaged me. Hi, I'm interested in being a guest on your podcast. I love schmoozing and having conversation. I live in Brooklyn. All right.
All right, cool.
Hi, I'd love to be a
Dude,
guest.
this sounds fun. If we
does
get
sound
some
fun.
people with some great stories, maybe we need, if we get a lot of replies, we're going to need to be like, okay, tell us what maybe your story that you, maybe that's
What makes you
needs to be our
think you
segment.
deserve to be on my show with all of my viewers? What makes you feel like you deserve to reach my audience of Nate and Joe?
Can you imagine
Calm
that we
down.
just have somebody on and it's just like such a waste of a conversation?
I'm totally down with that, dude. I love
Are you?
I love that. I love when shit goes sideways. That's my favorite. I'm inviting the chaos. That's what sounds
All right.
exciting to me. What if somebody comes on and they're like some scared like, hi. It's like, all right,
say
I'm
anything.
just gonna start asking questions. What's your fucking political affiliation? What do you think about Palestine? No, I'm just gonna
try and get him
fired
about something.
up. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna ask you fucking, if you are not forthcoming, I'm gonna press you in a fun way though. We're not gonna be mean. We're not gonna be mean,
No,
but it's
no.
I'll read you. I'm gonna.
You can be
just
mean
read-
to us. That's fine. We'll
Well,
welcome
please
that.
don't though. But yeah,
I don't care. I think it'll be funny as shit. Someone comes in
prefer
and starts
not to-
blasting us for stuff that
I
we said.
prefer not to have bad vibes. Would be nice. But if you
They
want
might
to
go
fight,
viral.
yeah. Here's another one. Hi, I would love to be a guest on your show. Motivation in business life, content creation, YouTube, podcasting. I can talk a go these things. Would be happy to add some value. He's ready to add some value to our show. Bring it on,
It sounds
brother.
like we got some people that want to be a third host.
Dude, bring it, man. But just
Hell
so
yeah.
you know, you're competing with James, who already has, if we do invite a third host, he's already a shoe-in, and Joe as well, if he's available, is our alternate. So you got some
That was
stiff
hilarious.
competition. Yeah.
Oh man.
And then somebody's asked if we're in the Bay Area. I guess we should have specified it was a remote thing.
Oh yeah.
No, you're gonna be phoning
West
in,
and
dude.
super West Coast. Oh yeah, like some people might not realize that it's also a video thing.
Yeah. You're gonna have to put on your little webcam and show us what you look
and if
like.
you don't have one, it worked fine with well, Joe got his webcam, and then James, it worked fine on his phone.
His
It
phone
didn't
was
look
fine.
good here, and then when it was exported, it looked good.
Yeah, it looked fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be funny if people come on and try to like dominate the room. I could see that being the
Dude, there's no way you can let them do that. You already tried to dominate the room.
No, I could let somebody do that if they're like really pushing to like have
Oh,
the
if they're
spotlight.
really good, yeah.
If they're pushing to like take the spotlight, I would step aside totally. Like I'm good. I'm fine with that. The point that you just have to like frame it in my head right now. The reason I feel like I need to do so much is because I really want to make it I'm trying as hard as I can to make it as exciting as I can. I'm trying to give you stuff to work with. I want it to be like boom, 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 you know? But
I gotcha.
If it's another person and they want to be they're coming on under the pretense that they're going to add value, I'll let them run themselves to exhaustion. Sure, I'll just step aside. Give me a little break. That'd be nice.
Time to write up a little media release.
We need to have that docu. Yeah, you
actually just wrote one last month or something. So,
and they can digitally sign it.
We'll have to obviously set that up, but yeah.
Once we get that, we're good. And then,
this is boring conversation for people now talking about that. So maybe we should move on to the wheel.
Well, all right, fine, whatever. It's not boring.
All right, folks, let's spin the wheel of whatever.
Spin the free wheel. Let's put our small talk skill to the test. It's the whatever wheel. Whatever we'll talk about next.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain. This is what you want me to
Nice.
do, right?
Pick that up.
I picked it up the first time. I just was like not gonna say it, but I'll do it for you
Pity.
because I pitied you for your joke. I wanted to.
That's right. Pity and
Poverty.
Oh man,
Like it
why
says
do these
poultry.
always work so well?
Pity and poultry. Pity and poverty. What do you got?
That could be a sensitive subject, but a lot of time, I mean, I would say overall I'd say more sympathy for people that are in poverty. Pity's a tough one.
Pity's like this.
Like, which sometimes I do to people that just, are doing drugs. Or it's not even pity. Like, I don't have anything to give you because of it. Because I'm not just going to be like, here's $20 for you to go get a little bit of drugs. I don't know what drugs cost. It's $20
It's like a foregone conclusion. It's like you written off. I pity you.
But then it makes me sad when I see ones that are like, and I'm like, can I believe this? Like, they're like, homeless vet, 4 kids or something. And you're like, fuck, man. Like, I don't know. I don't always trust it. And maybe that's a flaw of my, well, it's probably a defense mechanism.
Yeah, it's a pretty common response to being flooded with people trying to like take your money all the time.
It would be pity is if I was like sat there and ate 3/4 of a McChicken and was like, here you go, have the rest.
That would be pity. Or that would just be mean. What are you talking about? Just a fucking mean thing to do.
But my thought always for people, like when I left Alaska and moved to Hawaii, I got up to the corner, like Front Street in Lake Otis, and there was a guy there just asking for food. So I said, will you be here tomorrow? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay, I'm going to bring you a bunch of food. And so
you better fucking be here.
Yeah, or else. So I packed up the food, food that was going to go to waste or donated somewhere else, and I just brought
bunch of
it
rotten
to him.
shit.
No, like canned goods.
All your
and stuff
expired
like
shit.
that
Canned
could be
beets.
potentially true.
Canned beets and all the good shit.
The worst stuff. He looks at it. He's like, I don't
Yams.
want this. Well, I don't want it either.
Olives.
Beggars can't be choosers.
So then what happened? You brought him your shit?
I brought it to him and he was super appreciative.
Oh, good story.
Well, it was just, that's how I would rather help some sort of poverty situation, is give them something actually tangible, some food, like some clothes or whatever. But I just can't give money.
Let's look at this. Pity is different. Pity is different. I think I'm working through this in real time than feeling sympathy, or cause something could happen to me and you would feel bad for me, but you would have enough respect for me to expect that I could figure it out, or if I needed help, you might lend me a helping hand. but I don't feel like really the pity enters into it so much, because pity almost is like you're a victim. It's attributing, it's like you understand completely their situation and you feel like it's hopeless, and then you just feel bad for them. It's like you give them no agency for themselves, right? In a way. Is that accurate, or am I just like...
I guess that sounds a little bit better than what I'm describing. Like when you're giving someone or having a pity party.
Yeah, because if you're pitying someone, you're just like, man, I feel so bad for you. Let me give you something to help you ease your pain. But it's not like, if I approach someone, what's the best way to approach someone, even if they're homeless or whatever, if they're struggling, is to approach them the way you approach any other person. And be like, I don't know your story. Seems like you're having a hard time. Like man to man, out with respect, is there anything I could do to help you? And you would expect that they would then do something to help themselves. And then that way their dignity remains intact. You're not just coming to them and throwing $20 at them and being like, I feel bad for you here. You're like, you know what I mean? I expect you to have agency to like try to do something.
Well, do you think a lot of those people, they would like some pity?
I think it's a conflicting thing, because I think people, when they're in that mentality of a victim mentality, or they've been stepped on a bunch and they've been abused, so they're kind of like a prey as opposed to predator. They're like super submissive and stuff. They do want pity because they think they can't do for themselves. And so that's sort of like, help me, I'm suffering, I can't figure it out. And it's like, your mentality is not right though. So me reinforcing that by giving you pity is doing you more harm than good, because really we got to get you to the point where
you're reinforcing their shitty feelings or whatever.
Their feelings that they're never going to get out from underneath the situation they're in. Yeah.
So like you're being sympathetic without providing anything except for a shoulder to cry on.
Like, people don't need pity. People need support is a different thing, I think. And that's what distinction I'm trying to make.
You're right though. I was just looking at, I always thought pity is more, I always think of it as a negative thing, but it does
not seem negative.
But it's also, it's just like, I was just reading the description just to see how dumb I was. And it was just saying, you know, a feeling of sorrow, sadness, or compassion caused by the suffering of or misfortunes of others. Sounds like a good thing to feel for somebody.
Momentarily. Like if they're in distress, it's good to show them that you sense their distress, but then that's why it's called a pity party. You have the pity party, and then you get over the pity party and you start coming up with solutions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It should be a very temporary feeling.
Yeah, you don't want to exist in a permanent state of pity. That would be bad. So, I think, but I think
unless
that's what they
thrive off of. Sadness.
Well, that's what the people that have those signs are doing, is they're remaining in that, the trauma like froze them in a permanent state of, you know, looking for pity. And it's like, you know, like you said, it could be authentic or not, though. They could just be playing on, they could know that that's an effective way to get what they want. So they're like preying upon people's emotions. That's possible.
Well, it kind of ties into potentially your new short film you're trying to make.
Yeah. I think like everyone has a story. And so like, and I think that would rattle some people too. If you approach them and they were looking for pity and you were actually just like, I got nothing for you. Like, but what's going on, you know, and don't like emotionally cave at all. I think that would fuck with them because they really rely on that for their power, you know. Like, you're not going to make me cry, right?
No, that movie's going to make me cry, but...
Yeah, tell me the saddest story, whatever, but it's like, I'm just here to try to help you out. So as soon as you want to, like, do something, then we can work on that. But
and they start reciting the Pursuit of Happiness.
The movie, just, like, reading the script?
Yeah, just like, or they start telling you that story, and you're like, I got nothing for you. I know this movie.
I know this movie. It's not going to work on me. You're not the first homeless
It's like,
person that's tried
it's
this.
like really true. Sorry, we shouldn't be laughing about that. Hey, there's a lot of pursuit of happiness people out there.
Poverty and pity.
It's possible, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. What else about pity you got?
I don't know, man. All my pity is reserved for nowadays just people that I really care about. And even then, if it is just a moment of pity, and then it's a how can I help? Kind of like you asked. It's like it should be a temporary feeling, and then trying to either help or get them to help themselves a little bit. But that's where it's all reserved for me. Like, I don't, maybe it's insensitive to say, but it's like, and maybe I'm just super numb to it because the stuff I see daily in Seattle, it's like,
That makes sense.
really bad. And sometimes it's like comical until you really start thinking about it. Like a guy walking down the road just punching the air and screaming, and it's like, oh my God, that's so like hilariously bad. And you're like, man, I don't know if he's on drugs or maybe he's schizophrenic or something. Like, maybe I should have a little pity, but I think I'm just a little bit more numb to it than I ever would have been before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's almost the worst place to be. Well, you're making me think about how all the self-help stuff always tells you if you are holding on to like negative feelings towards someone who's wronged you, the best thing you can do is like let it go and forgive them. And I think one of the things that you can do to really piss somebody off if you're fighting is you can say, I just feel really bad for you. I pity you. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a baller move where you're like, I've transcended your current state and I am on God tier consciousness, and now I pity your patheticness.
Should do that to Connor.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if somebody's being really petty, you're just like, you know what? I feel bad for you that this means so much and you're getting so worked up over it because I don't really care. But so yeah, I think pity is a good, it's almost like if someone's upsetting you and you know they're in a fixed state, that's what it is if someone's in a fixed position and you're never going to change them, that's when you say I pity you. Like if you're arguing with a really stubborn person and you're not going to move them, you're just their head's going to explode if you just say I pity you.
Because you're saying I feel bad for how you act.
I feel bad that you're in a fixed state and it's never going to change. And yeah, it's like I think it's like what we were just talking about, where someone's in this pattern of trauma causing them to act out in a way, you know, through their own self-pity, and then they're like lashing out or behaving in a bad way. And there's some issue that's causing their behavior to loop in this like negative way, and you see it. You're like, I see that you're caught in this behavior loop pattern, and I've tried to break it by telling you what you're doing, and you're not changing. You just keep going round and round. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to withdraw, and I'm just going to say, I pity you. And so that's what when you say you pity. Funny. Yeah, go ahead.
Because couldn't you also say, I have no pity for you? So for instance, I was thinking like people.
If you're a real cold motherfucker, yeah.
Yes,
like,
but if you
I don't feel bad for you at all. I love watching you suffer.
Well, I'm trying to think of it in this poverty situation where it's like, say you got okay, I'll go two ways. You could either get fired and then decide that it's too hard to get a job anywhere else. Like, no, you can go get a job at McDonald's if you have to, like to help pay your bills. That like, or you could have someone who quit and is like, it's just because life's too hard, or that job was too hard and I don't want to do it anymore, and now I'm having trouble finding work. It's like, well, I have no pity for you because you're the one that quit.
Yeah, well, there's two ways to look at it. I think
you're like causing your own poverty. So
yeah,
but
you can be
causing your own poverty, both of those situations.
So
maybe I had pity for you at first.
I think if you say you have no pity for someone, you're still trying to move them, right? it's still, in a way, it's still manipulation, because you're like, I don't fucking, you haven't earned my pity, because there's still something you can do, and I'm hoping you'll do it. And I'm not going to feel bad for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for you because you put yourself there, and I think you can get out of it. But if you see someone who you truly feel is never going to escape from their situation, you wouldn't be, like, even if you feel like you said, like, they could get a job, but they're not for whatever reason. And if you had the forethought to know, like, they're never going to get a job, right? If you know they live the rest of their life not having a job and being homeless and being miserable, you should not feel bad for them, because their whole life was wasted over some dumb thing that they couldn't get over. And I think that does deserve pity. You know what I mean?
But feeling bad for, I get, but
it does make you feel a little sad, because it's a wasted human life, right?
Yeah, but it's like you put yourself in that position.
It was a personal decision. Yeah, I get it.
I think maybe there's this.
I think what you're bringing up is actually a good point, because we only have a finite, I think, amount of emotions that we can share with other people. Like, we can't be feeling bad for everyone, because then that's going to weigh and tax upon you. And how will you be able to survive if every little person is, your heart's bleeding for their pain and suffering? There's so much suffering at a certain point. Like you said, you do kind of have to just be like, I have boundaries, and I'm not, I mean, I do that all the time, you know?
I guess it's when you start to see, when people see things in black and white and not gray, right? And so black and white is like, they're just ultimatums, right? And so when you go an ultimatum of being like, I can't get a job there because it's so hard, and I'm only looking in one specific area, but it's like, okay, you're without a job for 2 months now, like maybe you should go try to apply to McDonald's, but they won't do it. And then I'm going to go polar opposite and be white and be like, I have no sympathy or pity for you because you're not putting in any effort. But so if they are putting in the effort, and then I can put in the actual effort of caring and sympathy, maybe even try to provide a solution or a contact or something. Like, when people try, then I'll try. But if you're not trying, then I have no pity for you. I think you're frozen. God damn it. At least you look really good this time. What was the last thing you heard? I don't even know what the last thing Riverside recorded was.
Man, fuck.
So you weren't
just
even
start
listening.
over. I was listening, but the fact that we got derailed completely cleared my fucking memory of what we were even talking about.
I was talking about how when somebody is being so black and white about something, as far as like, I can't really find a job because I'm trying to get it in the tech industry, and for now I'm 2 to 3 months and have no money. It's like, well, then you need to go try to apply to the grocery store or to fast food. And if you're not going to do that, and you're just going to continue to want pity, I'm going to have no pity for you. If you're going to be so black about it, I'm going to be so white about it, or vice versa.
If they're asking for pity.
Well,
yes.
It's just, if you're not putting in the effort, then I'm not going to put in the effort of caring. And so if they put in the effort and they're not getting anywhere, it's like, I'll put in some more effort of caring, and like I said, like maybe provide like a contact for somebody, or even if it was as simple as buying them a meal or something, like I'm more willing to put in effort and caring into something when you are obviously care about the situation yourself too.
Yes. I think caring doesn't always have to be like synonymous with pity, though. Or at least the pity in the way we've been talking about it is like, it can be just, pity can just be feeling bad, but also like not doing anything. But you're describing like involving yourself in investing, and you're not going to invest emotionally in someone if they're not going to try. That makes sense.
Where I feel like the term "I have no pity for you" comes from. It's like, you're not doing anything to help yourself, so I have no pity.
I think so. And I think the way I'm thinking of it is almost like the pity comes after you withdraw You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a withdrawal,
It's
and then
actually
all that.
having this conversation makes me realize that the idea of pity is a little bit more complex than we might all see it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I was just thinking of it as a withdrawn. I've tried everything I can, and you're still not making changes. So all I have left is just like I've concluded, and my conclusion is I just feel bad for you, and then it's kind of like you can close the book on that and move on. You know.
Yeah.
You don't remain in a state of it's closure. It's closure to just say. So I guess what I'm talking about is just writing someone off. You know, like I feel bad for you. You've decided to do this, and that's the end of that. And now I'm
using
done.
pity as an insult.
Yeah.
More so.
But I see what you're talking about in the sense of like pity is just. It's almost like you feel bad, and so the feeling of badness, it makes you feel like you need to be action based.
Yeah.
No, I don't necessarily feel that way, but I've done exactly what you're talking about, like many times with people where they're not helping themselves, and then they're just dragging you down because you're emotionally like, putting yourself out there to them. And then you're like, damn, I can't keep doing that.
Like,
that doesn't feel good.
Pity should almost always be used in a sense that it's supposed to be temporary, maybe.
Yeah, that was a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, so when somebody had stopped putting in the effort, then you lose the pity for them.
Yeah. Feeling bad for somebody is not a great thing.
No. But when you're using it as an insult, it can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that pretty much sums it up. I was going to try to push further, but I don't know if there's much more I could say about it.
Start beating a dead horse and going in circles.
It's what we do. We should call this the Dead Horse Podcast.
We've had worse situations.
You made a noise earlier when I said something that was like you gave me a pity laugh. It was like
No, you know what's funny is well, my mom does that to me sometimes. She goes, "You sound like your dad when you laugh like that," as in, she's trying to like insult me, as in like saying like my dad will laugh at something, but it sounds like he doesn't care. But it's more like I acknowledge that was.
It's an acknowledgement of an attempt at humor. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It didn't elicit an organic laugh, so instead you get the acknowledgement laugh. It's like, don't even like, fucking bother.
No, because it's instinctually, because it was funny.
Not funny enough for a real laugh.
Well, I don't want to derail you again on your point by just laughing. So sometimes when shit happens, I have to bite my tongue. Otherwise, I start laughing and I'll throw you off. Just like the cat thing. The cat's
That's
butthole.
True. That's true.
I should have went, huh?
Dude, I do the same thing. Sometimes when you make a joke and you're totally feeling it, and then I go, ha ha, and then move on to the next thing.
So I'm not very funny. Got it.
No, you're funny. I think part of what's made it funnier is that because it started with the cat butthole, you thought that was hysterically funny. I didn't find it as funny as you.
It wasn't your
but
cat.
as we've rekindled our friendship, there's been a couple situations where you got going in a giggle fit. And so what's funny to me is how funny you find it, actually. Like when you get... yeah.
I just think a lot of times, because I try to visualize some like things when you say them, and so then I even make stuff up in my head, and then I'm laughing at that. And I'm like, that's not how he said it went, but...
like my cake metaphor, and you're sitting there cracking smiles the whole time like some kid in class. I know if you were a kid in class and there's somebody else to laugh at, you'd be in the back just fucking cracking up. Like, Mark, what are you laughing at? Pay attention.
Except I didn't. I was the one paying attention.
That's true. Everyone else would be laughing.
Yeah, because I was the one getting laughed at. No.
Yeah. Nah, dude. Good stuff.
Well, I hope we have a guest on the next one.
I got another. You want me to read this one before we conclude?
Read it.
It says, if you're still looking for people to interview, most people think I had an interesting life so far. Let's just say I am a jack of all trades, master of none. Well, there's some self-recognition. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. LOL. I'm a Gulf War veteran, a former television reporter. I was an actor and currently a voiceover artist, and I would love to talk about dating over 50. I have been divorced 11 years. That
Damn, dude.
does sound interesting.
This guy might make us famous.
This would be, I think this might be our first go-to guy.
Gulf War, he's got to be pretty old.
Gulf War, that's a good one. Those guys didn't fuck around either.
That does sound like an interesting life.
Yeah, all right. Well, this has been a fun episode.
Hook him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hook him in, and sounds like we're gonna have to start booking people out.
We're gonna get so popular, it's not even funny.